Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Sword Art Online, Alternative Gun Gale Online anime review. This one's going to be for episode 10, which this episode is called The Devil's Comeback. And yeah, this was a very interesting episode because I think so many of the decisions that they made in this one really took me by surprise. I really didn't expect them to go about doing things the way they did here. And in that sense, it was very interesting. I don't feel the episode itself ended up doing all that much, in that I felt that ultimately the first 7 or so minutes of the episode didn't feel overly important. The big action scene based around M's shield was excellent once again, and then obviously the twists and turns start to happen in the last third of the episode with the girl that Peter Hui lets get away from the start ends up sniping her and nearly killing her, and it seems like PM4 is going to get wiped out by Memento Mori, and then M and Peter Hui, well, M kisses Peter Hui, she revives and has more or less full health, and then the photon sword reveal at the end as this is how she takes out Memento Mori, who storm in towards the end of the episode and seem like they are just going to be unstoppable. So very interesting stuff happening here, in that I think I ultimately more expected them to play it very safe, do the standard thing of just most of the other teams end up wiping each other out, especially with the gymnastics club teaming up with Fukuzero and Lan. I more expected them to kind of get wiped out, taking M's shield out, but they in the process would more or less make M open to taking damage, plus they take out the other 4 members, leaving it down to pretty much Fukuzero and Len versus Peter Hui and M. As it is now, that very well still could happen, because I think especially with just how quickly they took out Memento Mori, in that I felt oh, so this is only episode 10, so episode 11 is actually going to be about Len on the outside, Peter Hui on the inside. They sort of have to work together before they have their fight to take out Memento Mori. But then they just really, in the last couple of minutes of this episode, committed to just taking everyone out. Memento Mori is still alive at the end of this episode, but obviously I think there'll be a little bit of a battle at the start, but she'll take him out. And, it more or less leaves it as some of the gymnastics club is left. I think 2 of their members are gone, wiped out, and, I think there's still other teams out there, so I think the nature of how they get to the final battle is is it going to be the winner of the match is basically Len or Peter Hui, or does their fight happen and there's still other teams left and the match still has to be concluded, or what? And that's where I'm not sure about right now. But getting into specifics, the first bit of the episode was, I think, interesting. Just this team offering their services. We'd met this team before. Because the girl who shoots Peter Hui, we'd seen in a previous episode, and there's okay, she's clearly someone of note, but when are we going to get a chance to meet her? And it was basically just that these are people who have at least practiced in real life, so they know how to shoot without bullet lines, and they offered their services to Peter Hui. She sort of refuses, but they kind of agree okay, we'll reset our positions and have the actual battle. But Peter Hui goes against that and kills everyone except the girl. The girl is said to not killing anyone, but Peter Hui's actions kind of force her to take revenge later on, and so that's why Peter Hui gets sniped. Interesting enough story in that it was very unexpected. I almost assumed that Len would find that girl and they team up to fight Peter Hui or something like that. But to just have it happen very emotionally, that this is Len about to strike against Peter Hui when suddenly the job is finished for her, and as part of Peter Hui's pledge, basically anyone else who killed her, she'd kill herself in real life. So it was pretty intense. And then especially with the way they did the shooting of Pito Hui. Like she has all her gear on and stuff like that, so it seems like you know they're setting up like for she's going to do something crazy, but she gets shot before she's able to do anything. Um, and obviously they led into it being quite a powerful scene, with how emotional and kind of intense everything got. Especially, I suppose, the craziness of like she survives on like one hit point and just gets up and completely loses it, and then they explain that their interpretation of what happened is that she's kind of lost it in real life. She's like overstimulated, and if she was using the standard equipment to play the game, she'd be immediately like taken out of the game and put back in real life. But because she's actually using a nerve gear, she stays in the game even though she's going through so much. So I thought that was a nice little callback that seemingly either she just as always used a nerve gear or specifically got a nerve gear to play it on this kind of higher level. And just to see her, I think, just be so crazed about it, like about her death, and like the interpretation of like, is she actually scared about this happening or excited? Like mentally, like what way are we meant to interpret Pito Hui after this episode? Because obviously M wants to save her and is sort of helping her get to the end of the tournament because he can't like convince her not to do this, so he's gonna do the tactics in the best way towards like if they win or whatever. Or I think M agrees that the most valid solution to all of this is for Len, who Pito Hui respects, to kill her, and that be the way to solve this. That's a good setup for the plot. It's just when they meet in real life or just address Pito Hui's issues, like how do we get past this and address like this crazy psychotic like murderous intent, like eagerness to die aspect of her character. And so that's why I almost feel that they have to almost resolve the action of the tournament relatively early in the next episode and devote nearly the whole last episode 12, and most of probably episode 11 to just dealing with the aftermath of everything that's happened here. Unless they actually have Pito Hui and Len talk a lot during the action or before any action actually takes place and resolve that. The other thing they sort of need to address is the kiss. That it seems like the kiss, like there's like the plasma grenade thing that happens. It's like that almost seems to like fully reawaken her, and it maybe changes her, calms her down in some way. Because there was definitely a sense of like Pito Hui acknowledging the importance of M, and maybe that kiss was actually going to lead to a relationship, and it was something that surprised her and got her back going in this fight. I'm interested to see how they address that. Like, does she kind of give out to him for the kiss, or is it the start of a relationship? And has that sort of changed her interpretation of things? Maybe she is a bit more afraid of dying and so on. Because they're either going to resolve the potential, like I'm going to kill myself if I'm killed by anyone else, before it even happens, allowing Len and Pito Hui to have a fight without the stress of like real world stuff happening, or she's saved in the way that she has agreed to basically be saved, and they resolve it all in real life. Either way, I think a real life meetup has to happen, and a lot of stuff has to be resolved. But then, like the nature of how the tournament comes to an end is kind of still up in the air, because, like, this is where I'm almost thinking like the major like crazy character plot stuff will be resolved, and allowing the tournament to maybe end on its own terms normally. But I really don't know, which is definitely warrants some praise, because I think the series, this kind of second Squad Jam, has been fairly like, standard. Paint by numbers is a bit easy to. I think it's not quite fair to say paint by numbers, but it's been fairly like okay, this is expected, you know, Len Fuka doing their thing, PM4 doing their thing, they're gradually moving together, and it'll eventually lead to a confrontation. But they really switched things up with the direction they took in this episode, and it made things super interesting, and to the point where, like, I don't really know how the last two episodes are going to play out, but I'm definitely excited for the remaining episodes. But I think that's basically all I want to say about this one. The next episode is called Psycho Len. So either this is Len going 100% at Pito Hui, or it's some combination of like Len taking out the rest of the teams to get to Pito Hui. But I'm not sure. That's obviously up in the air still. So there are my thoughts on the episode. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on it and what I had to say about it. But yeah, that's been my review. Thanks for watching, and bye.